Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have another really good slow cooker recipe for you. I will have the recipe linked in the description box below, and it is an easy chicken noodle soup in the crock pot I've made, or slow cooker, sorry, crock pot's a brand, which is not what I have. Whatever, don't want anyone coming after me for that. I've made chicken noodle soup many times, but this was the first time making it in the slow cooker, and I wanted to see how it would come out. So let's get into the recipe. So to get started, I am cutting up my vegetables. I have one onion that has been diced. I do my veggies pretty fine, especially onions and celery, because I'm not a huge fan of the texture, but I don't mind them if they're cut up really small. Plus, in the slow cooker, I wanted to make sure that everything got nice and tender. So I have one onion, and then I have 4 stalks of celery, and then I'm going to also do 3 carrots. And we're going to, like I said, make sure that they're pretty small pieces so that everything gets nice and tender. So I've got about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast in my crock pot, and I did grease my crock pot with some cooking spray. And then you're going to put in about 3 cloves of garlic minced. I don't worry about the measurements too much on that. And then I'm putting in all of my veggies on top of the carrots, celery, and onion. And then the recipe calls for 8 cups of reduced sodium chicken broth. This is my homemade chicken broth from the freezer, and I did not remember to take it out the day before to thaw it, so it is mostly still frozen, but I'm just putting that in there. And now my chicken broth that I make, when I make it, I do not salt it at all, so mine is no salt. So I'm going to add salt here, and we did have to add some at the end as well. In addition, we're adding in a teaspoon of dried thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary. The recipe also calls for sage, a half a teaspoon of that, which I did not have. And then I'm going to add in some dried parsley. Just the recipe called for some fresh parsley. I did not have that. And then I did about a teaspoon, I think, of salt. The recipe calls for half a teaspoon, but like I said, I knew that my chicken broth had no salt. We're going to add in our bay leaves and just set them on there and let this go on low for 6 to 7 hours. The recipe also called for some lemon juice, but I did not do that. So this is hours later. As you can see, I got a counter full of groceries, and I'm adding in my egg noodles. The recipe calls for, I think, 8 ounces, and my bag was already open, so I wasn't sure how much was in there. So I figured out that it was about 5 cups. So we're going to do 5 cups of noodles, and we are going to get that cooking. And while the noodles are cooking, we're going to go ahead and shred up our chicken. So I'm going to open up my crock pot or slow cooker and take out the bay leaves, and then just use a couple of forks to shred up that chicken. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out. It lets me know that you enjoy it. It also lets YouTube know that you enjoy it. And when you give me thumbs up or comment and all of that interaction, it helps YouTube recommend my video to other people, which of course in turn helps my channel out. Well, once my chicken is all shredded up and my noodles are cooked, I drained them and just added them into the slow cooker and give that a nice stir all together. And that is it for this recipe. I am going to give you my review in just a second, so make sure you stick around for that. Alright, so I just wanted to give a review on the chicken noodle soup. We did really like it. My husband was a little unsure of some of the seasonings in there. He's like, there's something you don't normally put in there. And so normally I just use oregano and basil and salt in mine. So I liked it, but he wasn't a huge fan, I guess, of, I don't know if I'm thinking it was the thyme or the rosemary that he wasn't a huge fan of. So I probably will next time kind of follow my recipe that I normally make, but just use the method of the slow cooker. But that's just a personal preference on seasoning. It came out really good. I was thrilled that it worked in the slow cooker the way I wanted it to. And I still do like doing it on the stove top and sauteing all the veggies and doing it that way. But on those days where you're just busy and you don't have time, this is definitely a great option. So I will have the original recipe linked down in the description box below. That's gonna do it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on my future videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.